The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Hey, welcome to another edition of the Filthy FRB Show. It's Sunday, August 9th, and I'm joined, as always, by Filthy Tom Lawler. What's up, man?
Not too much. Just got done watching that awesome AAA Triple Mania pay-per-view.
We'll get to that a little bit later, but I don't feel so bad. It was $20, but 30 in HD. But man, that was a struggle to get through, and that's their WrestleMania, huh?
Yeah, that's like their biggest show of the year. Yeah, it was something else. I don't know quite what else to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have to check with the people at Countermove, but did they have a Triple Mania game over there at Countermove tonight?
I doubt that. I doubt that Countermove was taking action on these bets.
Yeah, I doubt it too. And you put it, we put in a request, or Adam did after you requested it for there to be a game, a filthy FRB game on Countermove for SummerSlam.
Yeah, I'm hoping that goes through. I've been told my whole life that dreams can come true if you work really hard for them, and hopefully we can make this happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why they won't play for money. There's they say they can only do that, just for fun. I guess because they don't have any statistics, like they can't count significant strikes or takedowns. Why not?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works, man.
Yeah. Well, Tom, I mean, one of the things the last week or so that's been dominating a lot of the MMA news sites, aside from Ronda Mania, is Rousimar Palhares from World Series of Fighting. He fought Jake Shields on August 1st, the same night that Ronda fought down in Brazil. And, like all of this guy's fights, nothing but controversy. So he holds the Kimura lock in way too long. And even worse than him is this bum, Steve Mazzagatti, probably the worst referee other than Kim Winslow. He allows Shields to just rake his eyes. He allows Palhares to rake Shields' eyes. It was just a total disaster. What did you?
He was like the ref in this Brian Cage versus Alberto El Patron match.
Yeah. Who was that jabroni? Why? We're gonna get off course here, but why? Why was he against El Patron?
They just have Rudos, which are the heels, and Technicos, which are the faces. They have Rudo referees. It's just accepted. You can be a bad referee and still keep your job, I guess.
So that's what's happened with Steve Mazzagatti. Because, so what's your take on it? Because, it's easy for me to sit back here and pass judgment on Palhares. It's not like I have to fight him. What would happen? What's your take on it as somebody who would possibly be locked inside a cage with a guy?
I wouldn't sign the contract to fight him. I mean, it's real simple. If nobody agrees to fight him, then he can't fight. I mean, what are they going to do?
So, that was something that somebody told me, pretty big figure in the industry, that people should do to Vitor Belfort about 18 months ago when, he was fighting in Brazil and it was so obvious they were covering up all of his tests. He was just an insane amount of testosterone in his system, well beyond what any replacement therapy would provide. And, of course, the problem is there's always some bum willing to go in there and lose, as long as he gets paid, and he doesn't give a shit that he might be out for 2 years like Mike Pierce.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess then it would be up to the promotion just not to use him. I don't know, because it's a tough situation too, because what do you do about Jake Shields? Jake Shields hit Palhares after the bell, and that's definitely not allowed. But do you take into account what happened, during the fight when you go to put some punishment down there on Jake Shields, or what?
Well, I think you say to Jake Shields, you're suspended for 3 months.
Yeah.
Which is, and then, wink,
And how do you address the eye gouges from Paul Harris to Shields? Forget even the cranking of the Kimura after the tap, but what about the eye gouges?
Well, shit. I mean, if they're giving guys 2 years for, elevated levels of testosterone, I mean, if you're eye gouging somebody, you're doing that with the intent, I think, to fucking blind them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't eye gouge to get the distance, or it's not a John Jones situation where he's playing that game where he's trying to get you in range, or Chuck Liddell used to do it all the time. Maybe,
yeah, he was like digging his thumbs and his fingers right into Jake Shields' eyes.
Yeah. So I mean,
and then Mazzagatti didn't step in. He wasn't doing shit about it. You'd warn him. He literally warned him. And then immediately Paul Harris put his fingers back in Shields' eye. He had stopped the fight, warned him, and he did it immediately and got no reprimand,
So that tells me that Paul Harris, I mean, it's pretty well known. The guy's very low functioning IQ. I don't know. Are you aware of that? I don't know how much you know about the guy.
No, I don't know anything really.
Yeah, he's a very simple person, to put it that way. I mean, guy is very low functioning, and I legitimately think he doesn't really have a firm grasp on what he's doing. I don't want to defend him because, just because he doesn't know really what's going on doesn't mean he should still be allowed to participate. There's rules, and if you cannot or will not follow those rules, then that should disqualify you from participating.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. 100%.
Did you have an opportunity to see your friend Joe Lazon's video, and he did this breakdown of Paul Harris's fights and just how long he holds the submissions in?
Yeah, I saw the video.
Yeah. I mean, so I saw some people saying, oh, instead of 1 second, it was 1.3 seconds. And then, another friend of ours, Vinny Magalesh, said, well, let me hold a submission 0.3 of a second longer, and we'll see. You'll see what the difference is.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, Paul Harris definitely holds it beyond what, he's supposed to. It's not even so, I don't know. There's been instances where he's cranked it, If he was just holding it, that's one thing, because sometimes you're stuck in a position, you're so tight. But it doesn't seem like that's the case in any of these instances. So, he's definitely out to maim somebody, I would say.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't watched the video in a week, but I could have sworn when Mazzagatti went over and actually, put his hands on Paul Harris and say, hey, that's it, buddy, he cranked even more.
Yeah, it looked like he cranked a little bit more.
So, I mean, I've heard some theories, like I said, he's a very low functioning IQ, and he's been coached by Murillo Bustamante, since he's been fighting in MMA, and he's been trained that you don't release the hold until the referee makes you release it because of what happened with Bustamante and Matt Lindland with the fake tap. What was that, 2004 or 3?
I thought that Paul Harris wasn't training with Bustamante now.
Well, I'm not exactly sure, but I knew those guys that was his coach for a long time.
Yeah, it was, but I think that there was some sort of issue and that he's not with them anymore.
Yeah.
What the issue could be.
I don't know. I guess he was just, what can I do with this guy? I think it came to a point where it was making Bustamante look bad.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it scares people off, that's for sure, especially if you're trying to get members in the gym,
But isn't it kind of funny that, we're sitting here saying, this guy's behavior is so egregious that he should be banned from cage fighting. You know, you have to be a special kind of scumbag for people to want you banned from fighting in a fucking cage.
Yeah. It's 2015. I don't get how this sport is still going on. Shouldn't we as like a civilization be way past this, Brian? I mean, really?
Well, Uncle Dana says it's in our DNA.
I mean, it probably is. I mean, it's...
I agree with him on that.
Yeah, it definitely is in our DNA, but I don't know. I thought that's why we had sports. I thought that was like simulated games of war, so that we didn't actually have to prove it for other people's entertainment. Oh well.
Now, I really thought World Series of Fighting. You know, Ray Sefo. I know he's considered the president. I don't know how much clout he really has, or how much There's some people that I forget their names.
You don't think he's throwing out vetoes and stuff?
Yeah, I think it's more of a
he's coming up with foreign policy ways to deal with Bellator and the UFC.
It's more of a Jack Tunney type role.
Okay.
You know, he'd show up every once in a while.
Well, I don't know. I guess in this case he's more like Roger Goodell, right? He's telling Palhares he's out indefinitely.
Yeah, so they they strip him of the belt of the World Series of Fighting World Championship, which is, you know, it's tin glued to a leather strap. It means
Do you
absolutely
think he was
nothing.
wearing the belt, Brian? You think he was wearing the belt when they had to go get it from him? Because that would be like the worst job ever.
Yeah,
imagine being the guy that has to show up and try to collect that belt off Palhares, like explain it to him.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So he's stripped of the belt and he's suspended indefinitely. Which I've seen some people whose opinion that I respect say, you know, you really can't do that. You can't just say you're suspended until we feel like not suspending you anymore.
You mean legally?
Yes.
Well, yeah. I don't really know. I don't have counsel that I can call up real quick either. So
You got Super Cal.
Yeah, I'll hit him up. I don't know if he'll get back to me quick enough.
Yeah, so I assume what's going to happen is it's going to get thrown on the plate of the Nevada Athletic Commission, and then World Series of Fighting is going to say it's out of our hands now, guys. You know, if they give him a 2-year suspension, then we'll honor it, of course. But that was more just public relations, window dressing. What they announced on Tuesday, that he's stripped of the belt and suspended indefinitely.
Yeah, he should be. It should be up to the commission, I think. Kind of leave it out of the hands of the promotion. That's how it should be. And they had a pretty busy weekend, pretty busy night that weekend because of that Khabib and Nurmagomedov versus Diaz brothers mess that went on.
Yeah, that's another thing. Can the UFC, do you think they have to suspend Nate? I mean, Nick is a total separate case. He's going to get suspended because, the third-time marijuana violation or third positive test. But do you have to make a statement to Nate and to people that if you're a UFC fighter, you can't be getting in public, confrontations outside of competition?
Yeah, but then, you'd probably have to reprimand Khabib as well. What do you think?
I guess it would. Yeah, it's just one big clusterfuck because, one guy's going to say the other guy started it, and the other guy's going to say, well...
I don't think they even have to do anything, honestly. Nobody pressed charges, I don't think. I don't know how it's going legally, so if nothing happened, then why would they need to address it?
Yeah, and Khabib's manager Ali, I don't know how to say his last name, but he didn't miss a beat. He was like, well, now they should book Khabib versus Nate Diaz for his return fight. Sounds to me like he just wants a really easy fight because he knows Nate, can't handle anybody who wrestles.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody can handle Khabib at all, so...
Yeah.
At least go after him, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then, after the show, I don't even know who that fight, who is that between?
I think it was all their same crews, from what I understand.
Yeah, I only looked at it once, and I didn't. Right off the bat, I didn't see Nate or Nick or Khabib, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, so that was the next morning when I woke up because I went to bed after UFC 190. And then I was like, oh shit, you missed the exciting stuff at World Series of Fighting. It was like, either Ronda knocks out some awful fighter. I mean, let's be serious. This Betch Carrera is terrible.
She was like the Brooklyn Brawler of the UFC women's division.
Yeah, did you see the GIF that I posted? Like that, all of her antics when Bruce was introducing her?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh my god, it was one of those things you're embarrassed for her. Like, what are you doing? But shit, you know what?
She does have a nice ass though.
Yeah, she is in shape, but it's one of those things is like I'll give her credit because this whole troll job that she pulled off was almost 2 years in the making. And she trolled a lot of people into putting down $60 because, I mean, she even got me a little bit because I thought, if Ronda gets her an armbar, she's going to pull up Paul Harris. She's not going to let go. And then
Yeah.
It turned out she didn't really need to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Ronda's going to be pulling in a lot of pay-per-view buys. She's like above and beyond MMA status at this point, well above it, and Betch, I'm watching the fight and I'm thinking like, well, actually, she's doing the right thing because at first she was trying to stay away from Ronda and circle and move, and then Ronda just kind of blitzed her. So at least she had the right game plan, which is more than you could say for Ronda's past few opponents to just run at her.
Yeah, that brings up another thing that I wanted to talk about, but. One takeaway from the fight, though, from a technical aspect, is Betch did, block Ronda's attempt to get it to the ground. I guess that's somewhat notable.
Yeah, she might be the first person that stopped a Ronda Rousey takedown.
Yeah. I mean, we're really grasping at straws here. Just
Yeah.
But yeah, so Kat Zingano, I know she lives in Colorado, so marijuana is legal there. Maybe she was partaking in some really good stuff, Diaz brother style. But she had some quote where she said that she wanted to run across the cage with a knee and make it an exciting fight, and she was shocked that Ronda Rousey went for her arm. She didn't think Ronda Rousey would go for an armbar. And I'm like, did you see this, Tom? I'm like, what?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe she had some like really good edibles or something. I don't get it.
I mean, maybe she's just not a good speaker and she just said something stupid. But I mean, if you're gonna fight Ronda Rousey, yeah, she's probably going to go after your arm.
Yeah, I mean, did she have another submission win? Did she have one by choke? I mean, what's the deal? I don't remember.
I think everything's been by armbar.
Armbar, yeah.
Other than Betch and Sarah McMahon, I think. But, yeah, so that was one of those head scratchers. I was like, wow, that's interesting because Kat wants a rematch. And you know who also wants a rematch?
Who?
Betch Carrera. She said 2016 she's going to get a rematch.
Oh, really? She's gonna have a tough time convincing anyone to buy that, and she's gonna have a tough time getting beating some of the other girls to get a title shot.
I'll give her credit though, man. I don't know if she's a wrestling fan or what or who's advising her, but whoever's advising her is really smart because. In the press conference, a post-fight press conference, they kind of gave her an opportunity to apologize for all the things that she said to Ronda. And she says, I won't apologize, and I don't regret anything I said.
Yeah, good for her. True heel fashion.
Yeah, I mean, just totally sticking to the script. And Because I feel when these guys fight and they're talking a big game before the fight, and then after the fight, they're hugging and they're kissing,
Like
literally.
off.
It pisses me off because it's like, oh, you got me. You're a carny and you got me.
Yeah.
And I remember
They got you Virgil style, buddy.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that too. But it was like Matt Lindland after UFC 189. Chad Mendes goes over there and does everything short of French kiss Conor McGregor. And it's just like, dude, that's the guy who said he'd put his balls on your fucking forehead. You don't go over there and do that. Fucking sell it, man.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I mean, it's one thing if you're cool with the person in the media before the fight, then be cool with them after. But if you're a dick to them, then be a dick to them. Stick by your guns.
Yeah, a handshake. I think a
begrudged handshake should be what it is. Yeah.
And actually, Matt
slap their hand away. You slap their hand away and walk off.
Yeah.
Walk backwards.
And Lindland actually, one of his pet peeves is the bro hug. He wants the bro hug eliminated from culture.
From any
in any setting, in sports, that he hates the bro hug.
Have you heard about this new phenomenon? I saw an article on the internet about bro jobs. Have you heard of this?
No, what is it?
It's I guess somebody put out a book about it's called bro jobs. The science behind I don't know. It's like straight men that get blowjobs from other dudes, but in a non-sexual way or something.
How is that not a sexual way?
I don't know. Let me find the articles here.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to make this a little bit more family friendly type podcast.
How were you?
Yeah, it never seems to work. I always say that, and then about 48 hours later, it always goes back to the lowest common denominator. Now we're talking about bro jobs.
Hey, I don't know. There was an article on probably on the OG actually. It's called. Okay, so
you got to stay away from that place.
There's a book that's been written called "Not Gay: Sex Between Straight White Men." And it talks about bro jobs, which are sexual experiences between white men who identify as straight.
Tom, it's not crazy. I've probably talked to you or told you about my friend Reese. He's a guy who lives in Oregon, and he started this T-shirt company. And Garth Brooks, gave him a big helping hand. Garth Brooks wore one of his.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by a helping hand?
Yeah, bad choice of words. No, he put him over by wearing one of his shirts to a big press conference in New Orleans. Yeah. So Garth was up there in his shirt. It's called 1950 clothing. But Reese has this friend, and I've met him, and basically, he's performed oral on a dude, but doesn't identify as a gay. And to me, it's perplexing. I'm like, well no, that's gay.
Yeah.
Or he's received oral or given. I'm messing up the story, but I'm like, no, I don't think there's a gray area there. It's pretty.
Well, apparently, there's enough of a gray area to write a book about it, but.
So what is the name of this? The bro job. So is that being sold at all fine retailers like Barnes and Noble?
I don't know how I stumbled across that article. It was on OG.
You're really making me wonder here. Well,
what the hell were we even talking about?
I don't know. Were we talking about Betch Carrera?
Yeah, I don't know. Something along those lines.
Or maybe we were talking about that son of a bitch, Virgil.
Yes. Screw that guy.
Yeah. Virgil is such a sack of shit, And I asked him because, I thought it would be cool to talk to Virgil on the podcast because Virgil is... What's on?
Because you're a mark?
Yeah, because I'm a mark. And I've found a lot of humor in Virgil, and I've made fun of him a lot throughout the years, and I thought that lonelyvirgil.net was, by Sam Roberts, the great Sam Roberts. I thought that was a great website, and I was like, yeah, man, it'd be fun to get on the line with Virgil and go after him a little bit and, see if he'll bark back or if he'll hang up on me. So, I reach out to his management, and I use that term really loosely because obviously his management doesn't have control over him. So basically,
hey Brian, even Burger King has management. All right, think about it that way.
Yeah, so he's got a manager who I really don't want to bury the guy because I think he's an okay guy. He's just associated with a complete fucking scumbag, Virgil. So I'm like, yeah, can Virgil come on the podcast? And he's like, yeah. So I send the guy $50 to give to Virgil. I feel sorry for him. So it amounts to charity. Like he does me a solid by agreeing to come on the podcast. And I say, here, Virgil, here's some money. Because all he's doing is fucking begging people. I have another friend that he was begging him for a $10 gift card to IHOP. I mean, this guy's
IHOP is delicious.
Yeah. I'm not definitely
last Sunday. It was great.
Yeah, I'm definitely not saying IHOP isn't a quality establishment, but I'm just saying, do you know how low you'd have to be on the internet begging people for a $10 gift card to some breakfast joint?
Pretty low. So what do you want? The guy was a butler before. At least he's not a butler anymore. Right? Yeah.
But this guy really has no self-respect for himself whatsoever. I saw a video on YouTube.
He has no respect for others, Brian.
Yeah, for others too.
Most importantly.
But, I saw a video on YouTube, and it was, I guess from the mid-'90s, and it was Virgil versus Jim the Anvil Neidhart, And the angle is Jim the Anvil is a Klansman. Okay, and this is a total shoot. I'll send you the video. So he's a Klansman, and he has a rope, and he puts it around Virgil's neck, and then throws him over the top rope. And Virgil sells it like his feet don't touch the floor. Of course, they touch the floor. So they're reenacting a lynching, and Virgil's selling it. And
Was Hulk Hogan in the stable with Jim Neidhart?
No, it was some fucking indie bullshit from like '94 that they recorded it and they were trying to get TV syndication that never happened.
Yeah, he totally killed my joke, man.
Oh yeah. oh yeah, I get it now. Yeah.
Jesus, come on.
The Hulkster, yeah, the Hulkster is using the N-word. But yeah, and I had actually, and then King Mo texts me about it. He's like, "Bro, is that real? That's not Virgil." He's like, "I'm like, yeah, that's Virgil." And Mo is disgusted. He was like, "Does he have no respect for himself?" And Mo, he knows he's a pro wrestling guy. I mean, he knows all's fair in pro wrestling as long as they pay the money to come in to see you perform. And he was disgusted by it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So I guess my point with that story is Virgil just has no self-respect. I mean, this is a guy that set up a gimmick table in the fucking New York City subway.
Yeah, my favorite Virgil moment is when Kevin Nash blasts him in the face with repeated elbows at the Royal Rumble in Providence in the mid-'90s.
I wonder what he did to deserve that.
Oh my God, Nash just fucking wrecked him with elbows up against the ropes. It was the best.
So the other funny thing about Virgil is he started this GoFundMe campaign, and he wants $1 million, and nobody, and he doesn't even have a story.
Who doesn't want $1 million?
Right. But the funny thing is, he doesn't even have a reason why he needs $1 million. It's not like, oh, I need like Jerry Lynn had some kind of medical condition, and they raised $15,000 for him. Yeah. I think that Brian Fritz in Orlando, I think was the guy who organized it for him.
Yeah.
So, it was just No, he needs that fuck money, as he calls it.
Yeah, to go to a fucking Marilyn Manson concert.
And that was my other thing. I was like, he went to a fucking Marilyn Manson concert? He's a 60-year-old black guy.
Yeah, I was on his Twitter. I was fucking baffled.
And he's yelling about fuck buddy, and he was supposed to be on with us, and he goes to fucking Marilyn Manson concert. I mean, who even knew Marilyn Manson did concerts in 2015?
Still, I don't know where it was either, man.
Well, I think it was in Pittsburgh, but I'm not sure. I mean, Virgil. I mean, his manager told me, he's missing. He goes missing in action. I don't know. Virgil might live in like a YMCA or, a halfway house, and because I don't think Virgil has a phone. Like, you can't call up Virgil.
No way.
Yeah, I don't have his number.
So he was better off as a butler.
Oh yeah, and I mean, he's upset a lot of people in the wrestling industry because DiBiase doesn't even like him.
Yeah, well, maybe he wasn't good at his job. I don't know.
Oh man, he's just a disgusting person. And if you saw him on the Sam Roberts show on Sirius XM about 3 weeks ago, Sam Roberts has this like really hot chick that's his sidekick on that show. I forget her name.
Hotter than the Mexican chick that came out with that old guy?
In the same class, yeah. Same class.
Hey.
And Virgil, so he walks in there and sits on her lap, and you could just see like it was so uncomfortable. I was like, oh man, who does that? And he's talking about his 14.5-inch cock.
That's fucking huge.
But I was at the NCAA Nationals in St. Louis this year, and I asked Jerry Briscoe. So it was me, Ben Askren, Chael, Jerry Briscoe. So I asked.
Drop any more names there? Big shot.
So I'm just trying to set the scene. So I've been having a few drinks. We were it was free beer up in one of the suites there. Courtesy Titan Mercury Wrestling Club. Shout out to those guys. And so I'm like, hey, Jerry, I want to ask you something. So there was this rumor that Virgil got his job at WWE in the late 80s by showing his cock to Pat Patterson. Is that true? Because Jerry would know. Him and Pat were very instrumental in the WWE hierarchy, and he still is. And he says, Brian, I can't confirm nor deny that in his Oklahoma drawl. So I took that as that was true. So I think that the thing about his 14.5, I think that's a shoot.
Man, there's no way he's got a 14.5 dick. I don't give a fuck. Are you using the same stuff Kat Zingano is that you were talking about earlier? You on the fucking Diaz brothers weed bandwagon or what bandwagon?
Bandwagon. Oh, I mean, Tom, I haven't seen it. I'm just going by what he says on Twitter. He's claiming, and sometimes he rounds up to 15. I mean,
he rounds up for charity.
Yeah, I mean, actually,
you ever get hit up with that when you go buy something now? It's like,
yeah.
My receipt was like $7.12. Do you want to round up for charity? Round up. That's like another $1 almost. Come on, I'm poor too.
Not after $50,000 bonus.
But I got mouths to feed, son.
Yeah, you need that. Virgil needs that fuck money. You need that diaper money.
Yeah, for sure.
Now I don't know. Is it public knowledge the sex of the baby and the name you have picked out? Because I don't want to.
Yeah, it's a male.
You have a name yet?
Yeah, Finn.
Oh, like Finn Balor.
Yeah, exactly like that.
I like that. That's cool. Finn Lawler.
Yeah.
That's a good wrestling name.
Yeah, he'll have a shirt soon.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's some breaking news. And he's expected, October?
Yes, October 2015.
Making his debut. So
Yes.
worldwide debut. It's amazing. So many.
His debut will probably be take about as long as Glacier's did. We could start the video packages now.
Was his gimmick Blood Runs Cold? Was that one of his? Yeah, and then they brought in Mortis, right?
Wrath and Mortis, yeah.
Amazing. It reminds me of Max Moon. Remember him? Conan and WWF?
Yes, I do.
We're really getting off the rails here. I wanted to talk a little bit about the UFC show in Nashville last night. And, Michael Johnson got fucked.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Well, explain your side of it then. Why not?
I went back and I watched the second round immediately after the fight was over. And I just thought that, the shots weren't landing as cleanly as maybe they looked. And the striking wasn't too far off numbers-wise. Dariush was, not getting hit with a lot of the punches, and he was popping a lot of jabs back. So I think if you went back and watched it really closely and intently, I'm not saying it was a good decision. I'm just saying it's far from some of the worst ones that we've seen.
Yeah, I saw the stat. Scoring it live, I had 2-1. Johnson rounds 1 and 2, and then round 3 for Dariush. The statistics did show, it was about as even a fight as possible. But then,
Ramsey Nijum, I thought his fight last week was worse than this.
Who did he fight? I don't even remember.
Yeah, exactly.
But so you don't think it was that bad? I didn't see one scorecard for him other than, my I don't even know how to describe him. He's basically fired me from being his friend. Douglas Crosby and Richard Bertrand, I think, were the two judges. Yeah. Douglas is a character. Sometimes he kind of goes off the reservation and won't talk to you for a while.
I didn't know he was Native American.
He's you never know what Douglas you're going to get. But I don't know. I thought it was pretty clear for Michael Johnson, and so I feel for him because what about the octagon control? I know octagon control is a very ambiguous term. I thought he was pushing the pace. He was commanding the center of the octagon throughout the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I've seen people lose all 3 rounds and then win a decision. So I don't know why everyone's up in arms over this one. There's been a lot of worse decisions. This one wasn't that bad.
Yeah, the worst one that I can remember was Nan Fan versus Leonard Garcia.
That was awful, right?
Yeah, it was literally 15 minutes of Garcia punching at the air. He didn't connect on anything, but he threw the punches, so he got the cards. It was just one of those, but I think, Garcia lost 7 fights in a row, and that might have been the only one that he officially won. And it was no, he definitely lost.
No, there was a couple other ones that he snuck out wins in there. I think that he lost. He won that. He got the nod in that Korean Zombie fight.
Oh yeah.
Didn't he win the first one?
And then didn't he get twistered the second time? Was that him?
Yeah.
Let me pull up Leonard Garcia's. So he beat Chan Sung Jung, then lost to Mark Hominick, then allegedly beat Nan Fan, and then lost again. Then he went on an incredible losing streak. Lost to the Zombie, Nan Fan, Matt Grice, Max Holloway, and the legendary Cody McKenzie.
Oh, yeah. I like me some Cody McKenzie.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that guy, man. I don't know. I don't know, when was it? Like he with that illegal knee or something.
I think I saw him on. There's a show, Alaskan Bush People. I think I saw him on.
But apparently some people are giving him shit on Twitter, and the next day he fucking deleted his Twitter. I was like, you fucking idiots. Cody McKenzie is a gift to MMA. Don't fucking run him off.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see his walkout when he fought in Russia? He comes out to White Snake, Here I Go Again, and I'm just like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Did he have on basketball shorts?
Oh, yeah.
He fought in the UFC in fucking basketball shorts.
with the tag. Yeah, Herb Dean had to go over and pull the tag off the shorts. Yeah, that's amazing.
Absolutely, unbelievably amazing.
What
Oh
fight?
my god!
What fight was that? Was that?
He belongs in. He belonged in Triple Mania.
Yeah. Before we get to that, what were your thoughts on OSP and Glover Teixeira?
Teixeira did what he had to do to win. St. Preux got tired after the first round, it looked like to me. Especially beginning of that third round, he came out when he was just trying, weird stuff, moving all weird. And, I think the writing was on the wall. I think he was just too tired. And Glover looked a lot better than he did in his last fight against Phil Davis, that's for sure. Maybe, having John Jones out of the division kind of remotivated him a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
now it's better. It's closer. It's more tangible of a goal for him to be the champion. It's feasible he could beat Cormier after the beating he took from John Jones. In his own mind, maybe he doesn't think he could beat Jones.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. He did look a little bit reborn there. That initial onslaught from OSP was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
and then I think Glover's just like. I'm just going to take this guy down. I mean, it was almost as if, has OSP's grappling always been that poor?
I don't, most of the time, he got held down by Bader, right, for 5 rounds. And he has that win over Krylov with the Von Flue choke. And I don't remember very much of the rest of his fights being on the ground at all. So a lot of the times when he gets taken down, he gets right back up. And he doesn't shoot all that often from what I remember.
Yeah, I made a comment that he was making Glover look like a prime Cale Sanderson. It was just like he had no shot. He wasn't even struggling on the takedowns. It was just like, man, just tap the knee and... done.
Well, he would get him up against the cage, too, and lift him pretty easily.
Yeah.
Just like, pick him right up, walk him to the center, beat him up a little bit. I thought Glover looked pretty good.
Yeah, he sure did. The other guy that I was pretty impressed with his grappling. Oh, yeah, Derek Brunson. He's impressive, but I was going to say Ray Borg and not the Boston Bruin guy.
Yeah, that was Borg. Ray Borg.
Oh, okay. That's close enough.
Yeah. Who did he fight? He fought Gino Hernandez or something? Is that who?
From World Class Heroes of World Class
Championship Wrestling.
Yeah. He fought a guy named Herrera. I don't know how you pronounce his first name.
I think it was Gene or Gian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was surprising to me, though, that because I didn't even see that fight. Borg lost to Ortiz a little bit over a year ago. Dustin Ortiz, Tito's little brother. And
whose brother is that?
Tito.
Oh, yeah.
And he actually was on that card.
On the prelims.
Yeah, he was on the card, too. He beat up Willie Gates, who's some of his friends call him Bill, actually.
Yeah. I thought he was I thought it was Willie Gates Jr. I thought he was adopted. I thought that was the story.
Yeah, he's the guy, I was at the Tough finale in Vegas, and he said, Dana, I got 6 kids. I need that bonus. So I don't think he got the bonus, but he, he got a really quick fight, less than a month, which in the UFC, fighting at this level, that's pretty rare.
Yeah, for sure. Chris Camozzi had a win. his first in a while in the UFC, so good for him.
Yeah.
Then Uriah Hall had a win over the guy with the best maybe the best name on the planet. Olawale, the Holy War Angel, Bang Boshe.
Yeah. Well, I was watching that, and I just got upset watching this Bongoshe or whatever his name is. He took one punch and then just quit. And I'm like, oh my God, man, sell it a little bit better than that. I would cut the guy and not pay him his show money. I mean, that was embarrassing. Really? I mean, that's the type of shit that people see and they think that this is fake.
Man, I don't know. Maybe Vanderlei paid the guy off to go in there.
Well, I mean, the background on it is Uriah Hall's opponent pulled out of the fight. I forget who the hell it was. And basically they were like, we can't find anybody. Or the guys that they can find, he didn't want to fight. So he said, how about this guy? I've sparred with him in New York City. And he knew he could handle him. That the guy was primarily a stand-up fighter. And if you got him on his back, one or two punches, the guy's going to call it a night. What did you think of Uriah's promo? He's always good for some, kind of off-the-wall promos.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. What do you say? Like the two best moments are the moment you're born and then the moment you figure out why you're born? Or
Yeah. Clearly, he's never eaten at Hash House A Go-Go here in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Because he would be, restating that opinion. Another guy I liked, Brian, on the show was Timothy Johnson, a.k.a. Barry Darso.
From Demolition?
Yes, from Demolition, from Hole in One, Barry Darso, from The Repo Man.
Hey, that reminds me, Repo Man, didn't he get Ted DiBiase's $1 million belt back from that son of a bitch, Virgil?
I think maybe he did. Maybe he did have to repossess it.
And the other thing about this card, I was impressed. I think this guy Scott Holtzman is pretty good.
Hot sauce.
Yeah. I was disappointed.
Tough to tell because of the guy that he fought.
I was just gonna say Cristo Duablu or whatever. He's the 2-time national champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for Greece. Can you believe that?
Yep, I can. Yeah,
unbelievable. I mean, I'll give the Greek guy credit, man. He was tough as fuck. I mean, Holtzman just kept teeing off on him, and
he got beat up pretty good in his last fight too.
Yeah, I mean, he was tough. I mean, he doesn't belong in the UFC. I mean, that's for sure. I mean, that's one of the downfalls of holding 50 cards a year is. You got guys that need fights, and then sometimes there's holes in the roster, and you got to bring in a guy like this to basically be a job guy on Saturday morning challenge. WWF.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with being a job guy once in a while? Bring these guys in when you're in their hometown or in the their region, have them fight. So what?
Yeah, I guess it's not a bad thing. I don't know. It doesn't really tell us much about Holtzman.
Brian, some of my favorite memories are thinking about the Steiner brothers tossing around a couple of jabronis. We never have those moments if all their matches were big matches.
That's true. Because they don't. The lost art of the jobber. I mean, they don't do the job. I can't remember the last job. The last job match. Now the jobbers are kind of like. They're superstars.
Yeah.
Like Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
Or the one-man band, baby.
Fandango.
Yeah, I thought that guy, he seems like a good athlete, good look. I think that gimmick was just a very short-term gimmick, and I don't
think?
There's just nowhere to go from it.
Did you see him and Heath Slater on Swerved?
No.
Is
it good?
Go watch it. Yeah. Go watch it. Have you ever seen the show Impractical Jokers?
No. What is that on?
It's on. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. The DVR gets it. Good question.
The DVR.
Yeah, but look it up. It's a great show. But it was a skit kind of like that. Like they have Heath Slater and Fandango are in a coffee shop, like working, but they have Miz and Dolph Ziggler telling them what to do in their earpieces, and they're doing it. It's pretty good. You gotta check it out. Watch it as soon as we get done here.
Okay.
That's in order.
So we'll talk a little bit about Triple Mania. So for the people that don't know, Triple Mania is like WrestleMania in Mexico. It's a big deal. And apparently they have the same level of production that this show has. Or actually, we're better. At least you guys can hear us.
Yeah. It was an abomination.
I mean, I felt sorry. There's a guy named Court Bauer that used to be a writer for WWE, and he was listed as the executive producer or basically the organizer of this broadcast. And he was just like beside himself on Twitter. Like he was just so upset about all the problems. I mean, from a production point of view, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Would you agree with that, Tom?
Pretty much. I mean, the only way it could have been worse is if like a monster had appeared from the screen or something and attacked you as you were watching it. This show is terrible.
Yeah, do you think it was right up there with Heroes of Wrestling? Remember that one in 99 or 98?
Yeah. Well, the problem is that a lot of it isn't stuff that that the workers. It wasn't like the workers screwing up really bad. Some of the matches sucked, but it was the production that screwed over the whole thing. With the Heroes of Wrestling, it was bad wrestling as well.
Yeah. You want to play 21? I got 22.
Terrible.
Well, that means you lost, Jake. Like, it's like, what? But, I mean, it was disappointing because I'm not really familiar at all with Lucha Libre. Probably my only exposure to it is watching a few episodes.
Nacho Libre?
Yeah, Nacho Libre and also Lucha Underground, which it seems like, I don't know if that's going to get picked up. It's getting pretty close to the new TV season. I haven't heard anything.
I believe that the news story was that they were looking for January or something. But I mean,
yeah,
I think they spent a lot of money producing that show. The show is awesome. I love it, but yeah, it's like not sustainable.
Yeah, I mean, on the bright side, if you want to take one positive thing out of it, I think it showed like how wrestling might be in like 5 or 10 years. Like it's like. It's almost like not really like a wrestling show. Like it has wrestling, but the vignettes in the back and the way that the camera, it looks really high quality. It looks like CSI or something.
It's like a TV show featuring wrestling.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's a direction that that wrestling could be headed in. And, nobody watched it. Let's be serious, but it's also on a channel that no one's heard of. And not too many people get it. I get it, but I didn't even know that I got it. I had to
How the hell do you get it? You live in the South.
Time Warner Cable.
Yeah, I would have thought. I don't know.
Yeah,
I would have be against having a Spanish language channel.
It's one of those things. It's probably part of some kind of package. I think El Rey is owned by some corporate conglomerate, and if you take a few of their channels, you have to take another one. And they bundle it together, which is an inefficiency, and one of the reasons why I think programming is going to move more towards a la carte type setup rather than this. Oh, you buy this package, you get this 15 channels when meanwhile you only watch one of them.
Yeah. It's already begun, Brian.
Yeah, the cord cutting and such. So, on this card, really, we're talking about two decent matches, right? Alberto El Patron, a.k.a. Alberto Del Rio, versus Brian Cage and Hair versus Hair.
Well, I thought the first match was great.
Was that the one with the transvestites and the...
Yes, the Atomicos match. You had a mini psycho clown who's dressed like a clown, like rock star, are they transvestites? I guess 2 transvestites.
Yeah, because I think transvestite is just they're just the ones that dress like, but they're not like Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, there was a fat chick, sexy star, who's a chick in a mask, and then some wrestlers, Drago being one of them, and one of the transvestites. I don't want to get yelled at by somebody, so human Pimpinella Escarla did like the coolest submission I've ever seen in my life, forever and ever, on Sexy Star, and won. It was like some weird surfboard with arm bar. I don't know.
And then Matt Striker got a kiss on the cheek after the match.
That's true. What did he say? He had some pretty good remark after that.
I think he said something like, "Hey, it's 2015" or something.
Yeah, he said something else after that. I can't remember. Maybe it'll come to me. Probably. Then they wheeled out that catcher's mitt that was standing on top of a body with some hot chick.
What? I must have missed that one.
I'm saying that guy's skin, the old ref that they brought out.
Oh, yeah. The
like, old leather. It's terrible.
Tropicasas, allegedly, he's the father of Negro Casas. Does that strike any?
No, I mean, no.
So I'm reading. Is this Dave or Brian Alvarez? I don't know who wrote this. It's either Dave or Brian. Said that Stryker compared Tropicasas with Terry Funk because they both wear a headband.
That's true. Yeah.
I think Stryker's a good talker, but I think he was just so unsettled by all the production issues that he was just like, he let it get to him. He broke. And then he started acting like he started lisping on the end of some of the words he was saying, and he started being over the top. It was the worst commentary, more so than anything else. It probably had to be the worst commentary I've ever heard on the show. And Hugo Savinovich, and some of the WWE fans will remember he was a Spanish announcer forever, at least when I was growing up. Yeah. And he was fucking terrible.
Yeah. They were hot garbage. It was bad.
They were so fucking terrible.
Then, right, some of these matches were pretty bad, though, because the next one, the Villanos, 3, 4, and 5 versus the Psycho Circus of Psycho Clown, Murder Clown, and Monster Clown. That match was just god-awful.
Is this one... Okay, so this is when Hugo Savinovich...
It's like 3 fat old men versus 3 guys dressed up as clowns.
But here's the funny part of the match. Hugo Savinovich, Mike... gets all screwed up. So Stryker is having a conversation with somebody that we can't even hear.
Yeah. Absolutely.
so we're watching this horrendous match, and you got Stryker having a conversation with somebody, and Hugo Savinovich is just totally, missing in action.
And then he's complaining about the buzzing. And at one point, what did he say? He goes, "Just pretend like we're watching a Killer Bees match."
Like, Brandon Blair and Jim Benson.
It's not a good joke.
Yeah, and there was another point in the show that I could hear sparks, and I'm like, "Well, what the fuck is my TV? Is there something wrong with my TV?" Like, no, that was part of the production.
Yeah, I don't know. Definite production issues on this one. Holy shit!
But I guess that just made it kind of interesting.
I wish I could remember exactly at what point my girlfriend looked at me and goes, "This is fucking awful."
Now, did she watch wrestling before she met you?
No.
Yeah. So she's a trooper for even watching this bullshit.
Well, after it was over, I told her, I said, "Babe, you're the best," because that was the worst.
So she will sit there and watch wrestling with you?
Yeah, she'll at least entertain it. She was complaining about not being able to watch NFL preseason the whole time.
Wow. I mean, preseason sucks.
Exactly.
Those guys will be bagging groceries in 3 weeks. Don't worry about those guys.
Bunch of ham and eggers.
Yeah.
She doesn't even like the teams that are playing. Why does she have to watch this game?
No, maybe she has some money on it.
Yeah. No, she doesn't. Well, I don't even necessarily like TNA, and I watch that sometimes too, so I guess I get it.
Yeah, so the next match, they lowered this cage, and they had a wrapping around the cage. I guess what was the company? Did you make it out?
I don't know. This match was all over the place. I don't know. I don't know a damn thing about this match. I could not figure it out. There was way too many things and people going on.
Yeah, had Jack Evans there. I hadn't seen Jack Evans wrestle in about a decade.
Oh, he's been on Lucha Underground.
Oh, really? I mean, I just remember he did this fucking insane bump off a top of a steel cage in Ring of Honor, and he must have somersaulted like 3.5 times. I don't know. Do you know? Have you seen that bump?
I believe so. Yeah, he does some insane shit.
I mean,
and Helico does some insane stuff too.
I mean, that's like
the guy that was wearing the GoPro.
Okay.
On his chest. That sounds like really dangerous to me.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Evans is like gymnast level. I mean, that he does some crazy shit. But yeah, like you, I couldn't really make any sense of the match, and
it was like a ladder match, but the belts. How many belts were there? What the hell was going on?
Well, there was 3 belts, but you only needed to get one of them.
Yeah, okay. And there was 3 teams of 3 people, right? It was the Hell Brothers, is that right? Chessman, Cybernetico, and Averno. They
defending against Jack Evans,
yeah,
Angelico, Phoenix. So it's either Dave or Brian put this match made the least use of talented guys, and poor match striker trying to announce this travesty. By the end, we did get Hugo Savinovich back.
Who cares?
So, what did you say? Is that Dave or Brian who wrote this?
Pretty sure it's Dave.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm sure the opinion is the same.
Going to be a lot of thumbs down, I assume.
Yeah, I want to give it a thumbs up because I was entertained the whole time. You know.
Yeah. You know, I mean,
a train wreck.
Yeah, it was a train wreck. I don't know. They need to invest a little bit more money so that we can actually listen to the commentary. But I wonder, is there that much overhead if they wanted to put these on? Put on the next pay-per-view, because Hugo was pimping, call your cable company to demand the next
ringside. I don't know why they even had to be ringside.
Yeah.
Like they probably would have been better off in some, it sounded like it was probably the wiring in the arena. They probably could have been better off in some back office somewhere,
Yeah, I don't know who, I think it was Court Bauer, something called a mic box. And apparently the mic box malfunctioned, but that doesn't explain the other issues, like I said, the sparks, like
I said, Brian, you and I could have done a better job than they did.
Yeah,
and we know nothing about the product.
Another funny line was, so Stryker lets us know, because they pulled out a staple gun. I don't forget what match that was. Was that Mysterio and
it was at the end. So hold on, let's just run through this real quick.
Yeah.
Blue Demon Jr. and La Parka beat Macias and Electroshock when Blue Demon used, it was like a half Scorpion Deathlock, half Fujiwara armbar kind of. And I think the best part of this was La Parka's Thriller entrance and dance, because the match was not very good.
So do you think they're paying royalties to broadcast that music in the U.S. for commercials?
Oh, absolutely. The estate of Michael Jackson is 100% getting the royalty money. Yeah. And then then we had the first of the 2 double main events there with Del Rio or El Patron versus Brian Cage.
Yeah, I had never heard of this Cage guy. I guess the Lucha Underground shows I watch, he was never on. But why did he get cut from WWE Developmental? He looks exactly what they want.
Yeah, I don't know. And he's really athletic. He's jacked. I don't know. There's got to be some reason, some underlying reason. Maybe doesn't listen to criticism. Who knows? Could be anything. But yeah he has the look for sure. And he's not bad in the ring.
Yeah, and he also knows how to draw the heat, right? He walks out in a blue shirt that says Trump or vote for Trump 2016.
Yeah. And he had previously knocked out Del Rio and draped the American flag over him. So
Yeah, that was. I wanted to ask you: Are you as excited about Trumpomania as I am?
I think it's great.
I think, I mean, they had the first debate. I guess that was 2011. The kickoff or whatever got something like 6.5 million viewers. This one on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever the hell it was, 24 million people tuned in, only for one reason:
Trump.
And I was dying of laughter when Megyn Kelly, the cute blonde reporter girl there, says, you've been known to call women fat, disgusting pigs, and she keeps going on. So he interrupts and says, only Rosie O'Donnell, and then smirks, and the crowd just loves it. It's like, only Rosie O'Donnell. Yeah, and then
I hope he wins.
Yeah, and
At this point, what the hell is it?
Then he's yelling at Rand Paul. He's like, Rand, you're slipping over there. You're not doing a good job. You're slipping. And it's just like, and I'm like, because we've grown up where these politicians are always, they're so proper, and probably the most like kind of folksy type guy was maybe George W. Kind of like a, not as uptight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Clinton had his own mystique.
Yeah, he definitely had a good charisma. But even Clinton was always very professional.
Yeah. But
I just can't believe some of the things Trump says.
He was also a scumbag at the same time.
Oh, I mean, let's be serious. They all are. I mean, that's why I don't care about any of the issues. I mean, this guy is this is like the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I love it. What if he picks Vince McMahon as his running mate, or Linda McMahon?
Well, give her a shot, right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, how many times has she lost her bid?
Well, he's not going to get the nomination no matter what. So
I don't think so. I mean, just some of the things he said. He says things that Tom, if you were still a history teacher, you couldn't get away with saying that shit. And he's saying it, and he's running for fucking president.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe the U.S. needs to lighten up a little bit, I think.
They really do. I mean, and I encourage people, that are kind of apathetic to the whole political process. I totally am too. But this is fucking funny. It's entertaining. And you know what? Maybe this guy's not so fucking crazy. He says he's worth $10 billion. Maybe if he's only worth $2 billion, he's still done a pretty good fucking job. So
yeah, he's worth more than me, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's fucking funny. But so this El Patron versus Cage match, before that little aside.
I don't think you need to call him El Patron, because on the back of his tights it still says ADR. So he hasn't even gotten it changed, really.
Yeah, and hey, that music that he used to come out with in WWE, it was the same music on Triple Mania tonight. Is that just like generic Mexican music? Or?
I don't know. I think it's just it could be, or it's the fact that the laws don't really translate down there.
It's kind of a lawless environment down there.
Hey, stop using that music, and it's just gonna be like, yeah, fuck off, whatever.
Yeah, cool. Come after us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was okay. Nothing really too great about it.
We had the Rudo referee, the heel referee, a lot of blatant interference. It was a brawl, like a no DQ match that you see all the time. Not too terrible. Power bomb through a table. Then Alberto had beaten up the heel ref, got power bomb through a table. And Hugh Hefner ran out in some red tracksuit to count the 3, but he only got up to 2. And then Alberto threw Cage's head into the chair, then locked in the armbar. Cage up and then get his head shaved, which looked fine. I think he looked better with the shaved head.
What did you think of the chair shots? Quite a few, huh?
Yeah, and there was quite a bit of blood, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think he bladed, or do you think it was hard way? Because
it was tough to tell. I think they were outside the ring when it happened.
So that makes me believe that he gigged himself.
Did you hear Stryker? I don't know if it was this match, but there were some table spots, and he said if he gets powerbombed through that table, we're all going to need tetanus, or we're all going to get tetanus, or something like that.
What does that mean? Oh,
like you're going to get the disease. Like this company is so cheap that we're using products from the 1980s that have rusted, and we're going to need a tetanus shot when it's over.
Yeah, but I mean, I know on those chair shots, Del Rio or El Patron, he did get his hand up, but he was still getting hit pretty hard.
Yeah, who knows though? With those chairs, they might have had, they obviously have some give. So I don't know. Those chairs are weird. They don't look too safe.
Yeah, Tom, when you were wrestling, have you ever taken a chair shot?
Yeah, but not from one of those crappy chairs.
Yeah, so just a standard folding chair. What was like? How did you get your hand up, or was it totally exposed?
I mean, I've taken both.
And what did it feel like? It just kind of buzzed you for a little bit, and you're
it's not that bad. It's easier than getting hit with a stiff punch.
Yeah. Now, where do you want to take it? Do you want to take it higher, like almost on your top of your head, or where do you?
No, like right where your forehead meets your hairline.
That's the best place to take it.
I think so, because then you don't get the jam. Like your neck's in a better position to take it.
Sure.
I think so. Your head's not getting pushed back, and it's not getting jammed straight down.
So then, the last match there, Rey Mysterio versus Mystices, formerly Sin Cara, formerly Mystico.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think
He
of it?
descends from the sky, came down in the old harness gimmick from the ceiling, which that was, hey, you said something about 70,000 people in there. That arena was huge.
Yeah, that's the same arena where the UFC runs. I think it does. That's like 22,000. But actually, somebody corrected me that I just wasn't picking up on Hugo's accent. He was actually saying 17. I don't know how I got 70 out of it.
A pretty damn big place, because it wasn't full.
Yeah, but I mean, did you hear 70?
No, I don't know. I didn't hear what you were talking.
You weren't really.
No.
Yeah. So apparently it was 17.
Okay.
But I thought another funny part of the commentary on this one was, so Stryker just asked mysticis. Hugo, what does that mean? What does that translate to?
Yeah.
And Hugo has no fucking idea.
He made up the most. It's like, it means everything that has to do with spirituality and all the triumphs and tragedies that he has gone through in his career. It's like, what? That's what it translates to? That one word? That's what you're telling me?
Yeah, that was another one of those great moments. He stumped him. He was like, oh, God, I got to go into full bullshit mode.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio had a pretty sweet costume when he came out, though. What do you think about that?
He really did. Yeah, I liked it, man. It looked
like wings. I mean, it was better than any entrance I've seen anywhere in a long time, I thought.
Now, when Mysticis came down from the rafters, I mean, to me, that rigging didn't look too safe.
Yeah, I always get scared of that,
obviously. And he didn't look too confident either.
Hell no, would you be?
Well, I don't. No, I wouldn't want to do it.
We're gonna have you descend from 100 feet in the air in Mexico.
Kind of gives you a lot of respect for what Shawn Michaels did at WrestleMania 7 or whatever it was.
The zip line.
Yeah, he sold it like he was not scared one bit.
I'd be shit. Well, I don't know. I've been on zip lines and they're not. I mean, they don't last that long, I guess. So.
But of course, that was pre-Owen Hart.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I think about how many times Sting was doing it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, then that was probably more dangerous. Anyways, Ray had that sweet-ass costume. So, as cool as Mystices coming down was, Ray was probably 10 times as good.
Yeah, I was kind of impressed by Ray. He was moving well. I mean, I know from reading the Observer, like his knees or one of his knees or both were just totally shot. I mean, he looked like he could still go.
Yeah, he looked like he was in shape. He wasn't limping around. I thought he looked great. Like I'm looking at him and I was like, is this the same guy that I saw, a year or two ago in the WWE stinking up the joint? And I thought he looked great. It's kind of like Minoru Suzuki in Japan is all in shape now. Again, that now that he's older, he decided to get into good shape. So it's like kind of the same issue with Ray. It looks like to me. Maybe he's motivated by being outside the WWE because he looked like he was ready to go.
Yeah, maybe it's just an easier lifestyle too. You don't have to be on the road 5 times a week, and these guys can call their own shots. Work. I mean, I think that's why like AJ Styles. He doesn't want to sign with WWE because he gets to pick when he wants to work, and charge $5,000 or whatever the hell it is to do these indie dates.
Yeah, and otherwise, I mean, he's gonna have to take a big pay cut to go travel, year round.
And I guess they get to keep all the money from their gimmick sales.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, think about how much the Young Bucks probably make in T-shirt sales, right?
Hey, I saw something. Did they really super kick a little girl? Did you see that?
No.
Oh, I'm gonna send it to you. Like they super kicked. Oh man, I let me try to find this.
All right. Well, anyways, I'll recap the rest of this Mysterio match right there. There was a power bomb through the tables by Mystices. Mystices worked as the heel throughout the match, and it made sense because after the match, he turned heel. So Mysterio was flying around everywhere, big Bronco Buster style dive to the outside onto the floor, just crazy rolls and roll ups, cradles and near falls. And then Mysterio wins with a tilt-a-whirl off the ropes into the Fujiwara armbar and gets the submission.
Hey, so I tweeted that link. So I don't know if you have Twitter open, but
yeah, I see it.
It literally super kicked a 9-year-old girl.
Well, did she deserve it?
I don't. But how does a 9-year-old know how to sell a super kick?
I don't know.
So
not a good sign. They're exposing the business, man.
I mean, she's probably maybe they didn't smarten her up. Oh well, or is it a boy? I can't really tell. Kicking the shit out of the Young Bucks actually, so that's why kid got super kicked.
Let's see here.
Man, this kid's got some good leg kicks and body kicks.
Yeah. Right behind here, I'm trying to.
Okay. You can't tell if it's just a boy with long hair. Or...
No, that's the Young Bucks.
Thank you so much for bringing them out today to this show. Thank you so much, guys.
Oh, they super kick his dad.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that kid is throwing him in there pretty stiff.
How does a kid know how to take a super kick? Well, I guess he could.
Oh, super kick the little kid. That's brutal.
Yeah. Man, he runs the ropes too. Yeah, that kid's dad's got to be somebody who's a wrestler that's taught him because he knew exactly how to run the ropes and throw those kicks and.
That was crazy.
Yeah. That's I just saw it a couple hours ago. That's going to go viral, because that's just, they all say it's fake, but I mean, you got to know how to take two fucking super kicks from grown men, if you're off a little bit, I mean that kid's getting knocked out.
Yeah, kid's got some balls.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, so we talked about Palhares, we talked about that son of a bitch Virgil, we talked Triple Mania, UFC in Nashville. I think that's everything that we got.
Well, okay. After that, Mr. C's versus Mysterio match, Mr. C's attacked Mysterio and challenged him to a mask versus mask match. So that's pretty big news.
When will that take place?
Fuck if I know.
Yeah, I mean but isn't that we already know? Didn't Ray already take his mask off in WCW or?
Yeah, but I don't know if that existed in
strange
world that is Lucha Libre.
Yeah, it doesn't count because it wasn't Lucha Libre. Yeah. All right, Tom. Hey, I'll let you know what we're gonna do this week, or you let me know. I don't know if you want to talk to Brennan or Ben, or let you kind of take the lead on that.
We got a few options, so we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and we talked to Tim, too.
Yep. And if Virgil ever gets his head out of his ass.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. All right, so that's the filthy FRB show for Sunday, August 9th. See you motherfuckers later.
Wiki. Out.